Photographer James Dobney uses his camera to interpret the world around him.
I think mostly what I'm trying to say with the pictures is that I've seen this wonderful thing, whatever it is, and I'm hoping I can draw people's attention to it.
Pat Morrow, a member of the successful 1982 Canadian Everest expedition, specializes in outdoor and adventure photography.
People really interest me in all their various moods and characters and forms, especially when they're moving through a wilderness landscape.
I've been taking pictures for about the last 20 years. My father was a photographer and still is a very good photographer. And I suppose it was always just around. I don't go out with a particular subject in mind. I've usually gone to an area when I think the light is right, and it's a process of exploration until I see something that I find interesting. And I think that point is very important, that I'm interested in a particular thing. I think it makes a great deal of difference to the finished result how much the photographer actually cares about the subject. I use a large format view camera for most of my work. It produces a negative 4 by 5 inches, which is significantly larger than the 35 millimeter image, and so produces a much more precise image. The size of the camera and just its bulkiness limits you in terms of taking anything that you would have to be very quick with, just because it takes that much longer to set it up. You can be fairly swift, but it certainly isn't for action photography. So landscape and portraiture and close-ups of natural details work very well with it. The darkroom process is very similar to the reason I choose this kind of camera, in that developing one negative at a time, I have that much more control over how long I develop it for certain kinds of contrast. So I can develop one negative and develop it any way I want in the darkroom, and then once the negative is processed, I can enlarge it personally. There are a number of choices that go into how you enlarge the image in the darkroom, as to how large it's going to be and what part of it's going to be dark or light or whatever. Most of your work is finished when you click the shutter. And the darkroom is sort of the continuation of what you've done, but it's a very important continuation, but it doesn't significantly change what you've done when you expose the negative. It's just sort of a realization of that initial exposure. I enjoy working in black and white because I find that it produces an abstract quality that is very difficult with certain subjects to do in color photography. Now, I find color photography very wonderful, but there are certain things you can say much more clearly in black and white. photography can deepen your perceptions as you, first of all, learn how to see better, to be able to photograph better. And then you find after you've been photographing for a while that the world is much more visually interesting. It has enriched your perceptions, in other words. And I find that an ongoing process.
Pat Morrow has been around the world, shooting outdoor recreational sports.
It's really exciting for me that photography forces me to focus my attention for milliseconds on certain subject matter. Okay, Barbara.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. And it's a matter of orienting yourself toward your subject matter and setting yourself up timing-wise so that you can capture a moment. And it's very difficult sometimes when we're working with humans or animals because their emotions are so fleeting and the moment is so fleeting. I think the translation of an event or a landscape onto a little piece of acetate is such a magic process that I could never ever get tired of. I always have a little degree of anticipation when the slides come back from the lab, and I crack open the box and throw up a couple of slides on the light table and have a look at them through the magnifier. Since I got into full-time freelance photography in the mid-'70s, I've been feeding the magazine and book market. I've been having my work published in Canadian, American, European, and Japanese magazines. A lot of them are special interest outdoor-related magazines, and they're reaching a lot of people with stories that I think could influence people to go out and try some of these recreational type sports for themselves. I have an important working relationship with my wife, Baiba, in that we plan all our expeditions and our photographic assignments together, and it's worked out really well. It's my ultimate aim to try and get people to understand the world a little bit better through, the two-dimensional format of a photograph, and also to get out and discover something about themselves in the process.
I've always tried to say very little about what the images mean to me. My feeling about my images is that if I could explain them or really talk about them much at all, I would be writing about them rather than photographing them.